Sitting in a bivvy with my angling hero, Julian Cundiff. I've been planning to do this interview with Julian for a long time, and we've met at various shows over the past 12 months, but Jules is a busy man on and off the bank. But finally pinned him down, and I'm really excited. I might dither at times because I haven't got a schedule. I'm just going to randomly shoot questions at Julian. But first thing I'm going to do, and this is on behalf of myself and everybody on the Julian Cundiff fan pages, Jules, that fish at the church.
Yeah, thanks very much. That was, God, I've got it must be probably 12 years since I caught my personal best, because I've never done anything for particularly looking for big fish. So it could be 12 years ago, and if you ask me the precise weight of my one before then, I think it was 36.12. I honestly have no idea. So yeah, it was. I didn't even go down there for a personal best. It was just the fact that Kevin had said you must come down and do a bit of fishing, and to be honest, I wasn't really bothered. You know, I enjoy what I do. I don't have anything to prove as far as I'm concerned. My mate Duff Batty, he's a PR man for a lot of the big groups. And I thought, you know what, that'd be really nice to take my mate down there. He can meet one of his heroes as Kevin Nash. We can have a nice bit of fishing. He might catch a good fish. It'll be quiet. It'll be well away from anybody. I thought, that's a nice place to take my mate. And then I caught that monster. So really, it was fantastic.
That's one thing I really admire about you, Jules. Not only, you know, you're always thinking of others. I just really, you know, there's a lot of people I've met, not naming any names in the angling trade, but they do blow their own trumpet. And with you, that's really one thing that I think is brilliant.
Yeah, I think Tim told me years ago when I was a very young and very keen. He said, "You'll be accepted when you're accepted, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to be you." And running around shouting how good you are, telling how people how good you are, will mean nothing. You're good when they tell you you're good. You're accepted when you tell you they're accepted. You're well known when you're well known, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I've just done what I do, and if people like it, they like it, and if people don't like it, they don't like it. And no, I've never really blown my own trumpet, because there's always somebody who's caught more than me. There's a lot of people who've caught less than me, and I'm not really bothered, you know, and I'm not being disrespectful what other people have caught. You know, when I catch a fish, it's my own private moment. I'll put it in the papers afterwards, but that's my private moment. That's what I go fishing for. I honestly do not go fishing for anybody else. I don't think, oh, that's the front page of Carp Talk, or that's this month's article written. Yeah, I'm sure, I think, you know, I do need to catch off fish now and again to justify it, but I have never gone carp fishing for anybody other than me. So I don't really care whether people rate me or don't rate me, because it's only an opinion, and we know opinions are like what we've all got.
It's a very opinionated world. Whatever, fishing, football, you know, politics, or you know, I won't go into that one. But on the subject of say catches, now we were talking to Julian earlier today at the angling publication stand at the Cudmore show, and you've had that big fish.
Yeah.
So is it still now the drug of just being on the bank when the time's available, or are you going to step up and
just go fishing? It's just, and to be honest, it's not even just going fishing. To me, just being alive is my drug. I mean, the life, you're only here once unless you're coming back, and I don't know anybody who's come really back. You're only here once, and it's about making the most of it. So I see too many people just wishing the life away, thinking, do you know what, if I did this, if I did that, if I had this, I'd be happy. And you really just got to live in the moment. And to me, what I do, maybe I am lucky because I only do what makes me happy. So I don't do things that don't make me happy. So I don't go to concerts I don't want to go to. I don't write for magazines I don't want to write for. I don't hang around with people I don't want to hang around with. I have to go to work, I have to do certain things, but I only do what I do because I want to do it. And that's the only reason I'm in that position, is because I've always done that. You've never seen me going to wars and saying, here's me with a spot core or a zig or whatever. Not being me, I've never had to do that. I've always worked for my job, and so when I go fishing for me. So yeah, it's cost me consultancies, it's cost me writing, it's maybe people say to me, yeah, but you never caught a fish from Yateley, or you've not done X, Y and Z. I couldn't give a monkey's. I've always done it for me, and if you do it for you, you'll always enjoy it, because as soon as you stop doing it for you, then the end is near, and the people who tend to give up are the people who stop doing it for them and do it for somebody else. So I always do it for me, and that's why I enjoy it just as much now as I ever did, and it pisses me off at times just as much now as it ever did, and I love it just as much now, because it's, you know, it's still the same. It is still the same as a young kid who cast out a herring and caught the fish. It's still the same as a kid who was tench fishing, and when I caught that 49 pounder, it was no different than when I caught my first double, my first 20, my first 30. It was just a natural progression. It was like, God, I've got a 49 pounder, and then, yeah, but next week I'm doing X, Y and Z, so it's, you know, I enjoy it for what it is.
Brilliant. I mean, I just couldn't have put that better than myself. It was just, I was blown away by that. Anyway, I'm going to move on now. Over the years, you've been associated with various companies. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to name them. I mean,
yeah, you can mention, you know,
Nutribaits for one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and this always makes me sad, when I first started carp fishing, and that would probably be in the era of Maddox and Hutchie, they wrote about carp fishing. They said use a size 6 hook or use a hook length. I was probably one of the first people to actually say, yeah, but size 6, but what kind of size 6? Are we talking a mustard 30421? Are we talking a Leon d'Or? So I was probably one of the first people who said, when I wrote my articles, I actually went further and said specifically this, specifically that. And I remember a lot of the carp stars of today used to poo-poo me. They used to say, oh, you've brought commercialism in, you've done this, and you've done that, and you've taken it all out of everything. And now the same people are like tarting themselves round for deals. I am... look at the same articles I wrote in the late 80s as I am doing now. I am simply telling people what I am using, and either it works or it doesn't work. I am not saying that this is better than anything else. I'm simply saying this is what I use, this works for me, and I bet if you use it, it'll work for you as well. So yeah, I am linked with various companies, but if you look in my tackle box, you'll see something from Avid, something from Corda, something from Nash, something from Fox, something from Nutribaits. I have the main people who assist me, but generally I use a bit of everybody's tackle. There's certain things that I've always used, you know. I've got a lot of friends in the industry.
A lot of that's obviously got to come down to confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I only use what I'm confident in. My job is as a lawyer working for the courts. I don't need fishing money to make my life go round. So whenever I see somebody's tackle box open and it is just tackle by X or tackle by Y, and they tell me about something, I always think to myself, well, you would say that, wouldn't you? Anybody who uses my stuff, I guarantee, if you look at my tackle box in there, it's the same stuff that I write about, and it's the same stuff I use, and if I've changed it, it's because I think what I'm changing to is a little bit better, not miles better, but just a little bit better, and that's why I use it, not because somebody said it's 500 quid, Jules.
Once again, brilliant answer. Sticking on the topic of bait, whether the people watching this video on the fan page or on my YouTube channel, the Practical Carping series, which I think to this day are great still.
1993.
Is it really?
Force. I mean, that's like 20.
Some lovely photography, Jules.
20 years ago. Yeah. Oh dear, yeah.
But I'll put you on the spot now. If someone tapped you on the shoulder tomorrow and said, Julian, you can go carp fishing whenever you want still, but you can only use one boilie and one boilie only. I don't know if you can answer this question.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it'd have to be something that I have caught. I mean, I would use, if I could only use one boilie for the rest of my life, and remember the boilies, then it would be a little yellow pineapple pop-up, which I could trim or use as a bottom bait or use as a zig. That, you know, that's the hard and fast answer. The reality is I use Nutribaits trigger eyes with the added GLME. That's what I use. I don't always use it all the time, but I might chop it up and mix it with something else. I might fish something over the top of it, but to me, that's the bait that I've got confidence in. But I'm not here going, it's the best bait ever, it's better than B5, it's better than Monster Pursuit, it's better than the Cell, because that's rubbish. That's what I use and what I'm confident in, and that's my starting point on any water. I'll take that now.
Right, that's what going on. You know, I'm absolutely loving this. Who is your biggest inspiration?
Biggest inspiration? My biggest inspiration, I think, was Kevin Maddox. Kevin Maddox was the man that, when I read his books when I was a kid, you know, although I collect books, I'm not a book collector, so my books have got mud from waters I've fished. So when I was a kid growing up, you're either a Maddoxy man or you're a Hutchie man. Now I was the methodical Maddoxy man. It was, everything was technical, there was a reason for everything. Whereas Rod's crew was like, you know, just take it easy and naturally. I had to work hard at my fishing, and the methodical approach worked for me. So my initial hero in fishing was Kevin Maddox, and then it was, you know, Kevin is still my hero because I watched what he did and how he, you know, he was, you know, he was the man, and he still is catching a lot of carp. And then there's people I fish with like Andy Little. You know, when I fish with Andy Little, it just took it to a new new level. You know, I'd go fishing with Andy Little, I'd use a size 10 hook, he'd use a 12. I'd use dental floss, he'd split it in half. I'd use 8 pound line, he'd use 6 pound line. I'd catch 10, he'd catch 14. And he showed me, he took it, he said, no matter how good you think you are, there is something you can do that's better. You know, I would watch Andy fish, and he would see a fish roll, and he would not take his eyes off the water. He would wind that rod in, he'd feel the hook, make sure it's sharp, recast, it would drop on the spot, and he'd catch a fish straight away. There was none of this winding in, putting a new string on, and thinking, where did that fish? Andy taught me more about lifting my game than anybody else, so he was the next inspiration. And there was Tim Paisley for the writing. Tim was the man that really taught me more about life, about going through the good days and the bad days, and, you know, never giving up and putting stuff behind myself. So again, he was a big hero of mine. And nowadays, you know, I mean, I'm influenced by everybody. Everybody I see fishing will influence me. But I think, you know, the three people that, you know, probably influenced me more were definitely Tim Paisley, definitely Andy Little, and definitely Kevin Maddox. Those three people were the people that I made myself. But I didn't want to be Kevin Maddox 2. I didn't want to be Andy Little 2. I wanted to be Julian Cundiff 1. So when I see all these people trying to be Terry Earn or somebody else, I think, no, you don't want to be Terry Earn, you want to be yourself. You know, you don't know what Terry's gone through and goes through to be Terry Earn. And if they did, they wouldn't want to be Terry Earn, and they couldn't be Terry Earn. Always try and be the best that you can be, rather than a diluted version of somebody else. You know, I would like to think I am Julian Cundiff in my own right, not a diluted version of, oh, just like Terry, or just like Kevin, or he's a bit like Andy, or whatever.
Totally, you know, I mean, you've mentioned some iconic names there, Tim Paisley,
Andy Little,
yeah, refresh me, I've got back.
Yeah, Kevin Maddox, all you know,
Maddox, yeah. One person who I know you've got a long and, you know, strong friendship with him is Kevin Nash. Now, me personally, I personally think him and Rod Hutchinson is the reason why the trade and the sport is as big as it is today. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, Kevin Nash again. He's one of my heroes from the, you know, from the carp fishing past. You know, and Kevin Nash really was the guy who got me my first consultancy. So when I was up and coming, Kevin was quite clever. He watched for people who were making a bit of a name for themselves, and he got me my first deal with Daiwa, which I mean, many years ago, probably the 80s, you'll remember the AKN adverts, which was Nashy, Steve Alcott, Sean Harrison, and that was the AKN adverts. And Kevin saw obviously I was doing various things, and he got me a deal with Daiwa, so he got me my first ever consultancy. Now I've been friends with Kevin ever since, so you know, whether Kevin wanted me as a consultant, whether I wanted to be a consultant, I could always keep business and pleasure completely separate. So I've never had to fall out with Kevin and butter him up. Kevin is the same person to me, an iconic figure, as he was 30 years ago when I first started fishing. So I don't have to butter him up because I need another 500 off him, nor do I have to fall out with him because somebody's offered me more money. You know, Kevin is an iconic, and the thing about Kevin, he's a carp fisherman first and he's a businessman second, whereas many of the people in the trade nowadays are businessman first, carp fishing second. So when I caught that big fish, Kevin was more excited than me, and for him to share that moment with me, I just thought, I can't believe this. This is a guy I read in magazines about, and he's put his arm around me and saying, well done on that 49 pounder, Jules. And he was so made up for me, and thinking, I'm living the dream. This is like unreal.
I'd have to agree with that, because I don't know if you've seen the pictures, which I'll try and incorporate in this interview when I upload the video. That picture, it told 1,000 words. It was just not only your delight but Kevin, and he was genuine. You could genuinely see that he was just my friend's come down here and he's got
Yeah.
away with a prize.
Kevin was absolutely made up, and I think he said I mean, obviously, I didn't do anything about the pictures. I'm still fishing, and a couple more. I think over 38 and a few more fish since then. And I remember Kevin coming back to see me the next night saying, the Facebookers have logged up. It completely says we have had so many people looking at these pictures and comment. It says it's just gone off the scale. We've had to reboot it and things like that. It says because people were genuinely happy for me, and you know, people looked and said there are two guys who are genuinely happy. This isn't about I've got a bigger fish than you and blah blah blah. These were two guys who were just happy to be carp fishing and for his mate to catch a fish, and it was like. It's still difficult to sink in. You know, I'm not a big fish angler. I'm a carp angler. I'm not a carp catcher. I'm a carp angler. When I drove home down the motor, I'm thinking, I've caught a 49 pounder. I've caught a 49 pounder, and it's no different to a 29 or a 39 or a 19. It's just a number, but it's like, wow, a 49 pounder.
When I first saw that picture and realised what had happened, I thought I was just sitting down to eat my evening meal. This is the gospel truth, and I was taken back. And the person who was with me at the time, I said, "What's the matter with you?" I says, "Well," I told them anyway, but they says, "Wow." I says, "Not as in wow, he's caught a fish, not any fish, and this is a, you know." And I thought straight away, you know, you've got your mobile number. I thought you're going to be bombarded. But I thought, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I was as happy as like.
It was amazing,
yeah.
It was incredible. I was just like, I'm sat there, and all of a sudden, like, I had not put anything on about it because it's a private moment. All of a sudden, like, I've got 84 texts arriving, thinking, what's all that about? I mean, I haven't told anybody other than the bloke who sat next to me, and it was like incredible. I was like, I just floated along, and I thought, do you know what? They're no harder to catch or no easier to catch than other fish, and I fished the right water at the right time. I did it my way. And it was just fantastic, and I've been back since and caught more fish, and it's just fantastic. But you know, it's carp fishing.
I mean, if you haven't had the privilege, but I think it was in June's edition of Crafty Carper.
Probably June or July's, yeah. July's, yeah.
I've read it. Nick, who's doing the filming here, God bless him, he's read it more times than me. Honest to God, this is just absolutely fantastic. I won't spoil it for you, but Jules moved, was it 3 times during the session?
Yeah, 3 times, yeah. Moved 3 times.
If you're into your reading, this is well, like any of Julian's articles and that, it's just a brilliant read. I really highly recommend it. I've even uploaded, written the article on the Julian Cundiff fan page on Facebook, so if you're on there, like the page, and as I say, it's just a brilliant read, and you feel like you're there, that's all I can say.
Yeah, it was good, I was just amazed. I mean, I'll be honest, I got there, and I felt completely out of my depth, because when I got there, it was like, one guy was saying, you've got to catch them on maggots, another guy was saying, you've got to get on zigs, Jules, another guy's telling me, you've got to do this. I'm thinking, my God, I was just like, so much information was going in my brain, and I thought, right, okay, I'll just do it the way I do it as my starting point. You know, I'm not a zig bug man or a maggot man, I can fish all those, but I needed my normal starting point, and I just thought, I took a deep breath of air, I thought, right, where are the fish, right? What are they doing? Where are they doing it? What normally catches them? And that's the starting point. And that worked for me, you know. And it's all too easy to be, you know, up trees, casting bugs out, fishing maggots, doing chods. You need a starting point, and then you move on from that starting point. Because otherwise, you end up not knowing what on earth you were doing.
I mean, location, as far as I'm concerned, you can have the best boilie in the world, the best rig, terminal tackle, whatever. If those fish are not there, you ain't going to catch them. I found them, and really, they were, every time they were a bit more to the left than I wanted them to be, so I had to move. You know, if I had not moved, I don't think I'd have caught those fish, and it was about, you know, I was close but not close enough, and it's just that bit of extra effort. It's the same effort. I did no more effort than I do for a 17 pounder on an overnighter. I just put the same effort in, and it's years of doing it, it's the first time I fished a water which had a personal best in, so I fish overnighters. I'm not going to travel somewhere on an overnighter and catch a 40 pounder. I can catch the fish that are in front of me, and it's all I did was what I would normally do on an overnighter, but times it by 2 or 3 days. It was only 2 nights, 3 days, so it was just, I fished exactly the same as I do normal, but instead of it being a 19 pounder, it was a 49 and a 38 and a 30, you know, so it was great. Fantastic. Well, if we're going to wrap it up now, Jules, is there anything you'd like to say to the camera, to the people watching this video?
Yeah, I always say to people, do it for you, don't do it for other people. You know, you pick the magazines up and there's pictures of me and hundreds of other people with fish in their hands, but you never see pictures of blanks. You don't see all the the boring bits or the going through the motions bits. Next time you read a book by any of the well-known carp anglers of today, do yourself a favour. Actually just put a little board next to you, a notebook, and tick down how many nights or days that person spends fishing. So don't go, wow, what an absolutely fantastic angler, what am I doing wrong, it must be my rigs or my baits or my bivvy. Just put a little mark and just count how many days that person fishes, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes it might be 200 days and nights to catch a number of fish. Not discrediting him or her, but what I'm saying is you've got to put into perspective. Don't think that they are anything different to you or I. Those people are exactly the same as you or I. If you're motivated and you work hard, you'll catch them, but you need to put it into perspective. The first time I fished a water with a big fish in it, I caught a big fish and some more. Not because I was doing anything different, I was just doing what I do well on a water that held the fish. And you know, anybody can live the dream as long as you're motivated enough to do it.
Well, Julian,
a pleasure.
Absolutely loved every minute of it, and I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I've enjoyed talking to Julian and asking the questions. So from the Cudmore show here in Staffordshire, all the best and take care.
I hope my hair's not gone flat.